Hey everybody, Chris from Thundercat of Grayskull. Here today, we're going to take a look at this guy. Who is he? What is he? What? Huh? Huh? What? Huh? We got Beastman from the Origins line of the movie series. Stay tuned. We're going to take a deep dive into what he has to offer to the brand and to the line. Alrighty, here we go. We have Beastman here from the movie Origins line. Alright, let's take a look at the packaging for a moment. Alright, we notice up front we got the new Masters of the Universe logo. Looks like we got a couple people in bondage up here. Now let's bring it in just a wee bit closer so everybody can see. Uh-oh, looks like we got Roboto. How the heck did they put him in a freaking cage? We got the new Man-at-Arms and Tila. And we got Beastman over here. Looks like they're taunting him over here. I mean, nope, y'all jokers ain't getting out of here. Ain't getting out of here. Skeletor say you can't move, can't leave. That's how it is. Yeah. Alright. So let's spin this around. Let's give it a good looky-loo. Alright, on the side, it kind of gives more of the theme of what's going on with the painting. And look at that. It's a good rendition of it all. Him and his curved knife. Kind of liking him so far. He's got this, from how everything looks, he's kind of got that 2000X Buck style, with the fur, because of how, the, I don't know, is that teeth from Fallen Prey? I don't know how his, armor was based out of, like, how he came out with it, but it's all coming out. It's not on, not overlaid over top like with the garb. But we're going to take a deeper dive in that soon enough. Here we go. We got more of a picture of him. We got him with the backdrop of Snake Mountain. Got him down here with, showing off that blade of his and the classic whip, because, he's got to have the whip. And Beastman, Savage Henchman. Beastman hunts for the sword of power in the service of his evil master, Skeletor. So let's take a look at the side. I like it. They're kind of doing a, like what they did with the recent Masterverse, kind of how they gave like the side panel view of, they have the face and whatnot. So, alrighty, what do you say? Let's break him out of his box prison and let's see what he's got. Alrighty, now that we've unleashed him from his box prison, let's take a look at him. We're going to give a nice little 360 view of him. Yeah. I'm kind of liking I like the fact that they actually gave him, soft goods and, the fur overlay that they did. He's got that knife. It looks like he's got a little pouch, a little side thing where he can, leave the pouch at. Alrighty. That's really cool. I'm liking the accessories that they gave him. They gave him very basic accessories, kind of like what Mattel has been generally known for. 1 to 2 accessories. They don't go any more than that. So let's take a look at them. A little bit more up close. I'm liking the detail that they gave in the face and whatnot. They actually opened up the mouth. They didn't give him, that flat closed mouth like they have with some of the previous Beastmen. The armor looks good. I wonder what buck they use for this. So if anybody in the comments knows what main buck that they use for, it looks like primarily the upper body, the hip and the arms. Maybe Andre the Giant from the WWE line. But if you know, leave it in the comment. Looks like the spikes go through the soft goods part. Double layered. That's nice. That's nice. They got a good amount of detail and deco on this, especially on his crest here. That's supposed to, show that he can summon all beasts and control them. Of course, he's got his classic whip here. But that knife that, look, is that stone? Is that, an animal's tooth that he just ended up using and making a knife out of it? Like our ancestors did? Don't know. Well, this might, of course he's got, if you got Origins figures, the articulation and whatnot. Looks really good. I'm liking the structure of it all. The level of detail, especially for being a, Origins-based figure. They did a lot of detail in the face and hair and the ears. I'm liking that the fact that they gave him his classic, eyeliner or, shadow, wherever the case may be. So, let's strip him down. Let's see what we got here. Alright? Alrighty, here we go with almost all of his accessories taken off. Note this. The shin guards, they are removable, but you got to heat up the feet and pop those off to take those off. So, I really didn't want to do that one today. However, him looking like he's, embarrassed. We do have the waist piece, kind of, guarding everything. I like the fact he's got a little pouch. Maybe it's for gold. Maybe it's, for something. Who knows? Well, of course, he's got, his arm guard on each arm. That was good. We've already showcased the weaponry. His classic whip. I'm going to call it a bone knife. Kind of wonky off to the side. See, kind of curves, but hey, I can live with it. Now, this, what lays over his shoulders and whatnot, it's actually two pieces. And I didn't want to stress it too much because of the fact of it seems like they all fit into a hole. Like each of the teeth, because I'm imagining that it's teeth that he got off of some prey. Now, it does feed through and come through here. So, I mean, if you wanted to chance it and do it, do that at your own risk. Kind of lays over top, and both of them pop in. But that's really nice. I mean, nice, soft, little material. But yeah, he really does, this right here really does harken to how the 2000X was compared to, the OG line, or anything else. I mean, I think the only one that came close to having something of this, of this caliber was the New Eternia Beastman. But I like how they did this. I like how they incorporated his history within making him. So, we're going to put his guard back on, and we're going to put him in some poses and see how he does. Alrighty. So, we got his guard back on. We got him in a nice little dynamic pose. It's Origin Buck, so we all know what we're working with, especially if we collect Origins Buck. Let's see if we can turn him and see how his stability goes. Alright, not too bad right now. So you can get him in some dynamic posing. I mean, like I said, it's Origin Buck, so you can get him in some good stuff, but you can't, it's not like you would with the Chronicles line or a high-end line. But overall, it's really good. I mean, you can't really get the body up and down. I mean, the head only goes about yay far, but in articulation, I mean, if you got origins, you know what you're working with. And you know you got to finagle a little bit in order with a bigger figure like this and actually get him to, pose right and be in the, try to get the poses and the look that you really want. However, overall, I like it. I do understand why he is, why he was a Mattel Creations, is because, the soft goods to him, also, the size of him, because he is fairly large. So let's get him in a couple of the poses and let's see what's going on with him. All right, so we got him in a jumping pose here where he looks like he's about to attack, some people, about to whip him down. Yeah, I mean, you can get him in some good stuff. Like I said, if you have, if you collect the Origins line, you know what you're getting with him. I mean, we have all, we're pretty well versed with it. But I will here in a moment, go through a little standard articulation. I mean, granted, we've all seen it 1,000 times over, but, for anybody that's new to the Origins line, especially with the movie coming out, we're going to do it for them. So let's do it. Okay, let's check out the articulation. I mean, the head, you can move him around. You can't really move his head, you can't do 360 mainly because of the teeth spikes that's going on here. His arm range, like I said, standard Origins. I mean, he does have the bend at the elbow. You can extend it. You can rotate the wrist around. He does have the hinge, so you can move his hand around and whatnot. The waist, simple shuffle. Legs go out, about 45-degree angle. You got the knee bend. You got the ankle bend. You got, the hinge so you can move his foot around a little bit. I mean, it's Origins figure. Can't really expect too much of him, but he's still really good. So, now that we got that out of the way, let's do comparison time. So, we got the movie. We brought out the 2000X. And we also brought out the new Eternia first version of Beastman. Reason why is because it's kind of like they did an amalgamation of all of them all thrown together, which is pretty cool. So, what I mean is that with this Beastman, how everything went, how all the teeth and everything went through the fur, kind of like what they did with the 2000X here, right? But I do love the fact that they actually added, soft goods like fur, like what they did with the first version of Beastman here. Not too thrilled about the headdress because it keeps going everywhere, but hey, it is what it is. But, with this version of them, I mean, it's same Origin styles. I mean, granted, you can't get as much range with him as you do with this one, but it still looks good. But I brought them all in so we can kind of see where the evolution of the character is and where he came from, because I'm really liking it, the fact that they paid homage to almost every facet of Beastman. I love the fact of the matter that they got that long, very long whip, and it looks like you can actually move it and you don't have to worry about it breaking or anything. I mean, you got this Beastman, you can close to do the same thing, but overall, he looks like a really good figure. I mean, I'm loving, size comparison between the two. I mean, if he wasn't, if this Beastman wasn't hunched over, I mean, it'd be, this Beastman would definitely, 2000X would definitely be taller than him. I mean, he just got bigger arms, whatnot. But, standard humanoid looking, I mean, he's about even with everything. Like I said, if anybody knows where, the chest and half of the arms came from, let me know down in the comments. So we're going to move him back, and we're going to bring in a size comparison with Skeletor. No, I do not have, I don't think, the Skeletor isn't out yet for the Origins movie line. But we got a nice, size comparison. He is a lot bigger. I mean, at least by, 2 inches. I mean, it's the same style buck, whatnot. He's just a lot more massive in it. Overall, I really can't complain. I really like what they did with him. I'm liking the face. I'm liking the fact that, they paid a lot of homage to the actual character himself. Kind of did their own little reimagining of him. But they still kept, like, the very fine points of the character. They kept the whip, of course, because, I mean, it's Beastman. I like how they did the bracers. They gave him his own style of bracers here. His loincloth here, it's striped out, it's stripped out like leather, like pieces of leather just going down. And they also did that in the back. Still want to know what that is and why that's there, but, maybe we might find out in the movies. I like his shin guards. They're pointy. They, it brings up with the rest of his armor. Like, I want to say that's his shoulder armor piece. Spiky as always. And they actually gave reasons for the spikes along here, but they did it in more of a 2000X style where it comes through the fur that he has laid over him. I'm liking the fact of how they did the head. I mean, I'm going to take that off for a moment, and the fact that they still gave, a major homage to the character himself. And they actually made it look really good. And, like, it makes, sense to a certain degree. I don't understand why, this is orange and the rest of them's not. It's more that beige tan look. But, I mean, maybe that's just, his actual natural fur, and this right here was a kill or what have you. And his face is just, painted. Who knows? But like I said, overall, I'm liking what they did. I'm loving the fact that they're continuing Origins, even with the movie line itself. It's really good. The fact that they're not scrapping it for, the kids line they got going on. It's like, how many lines do they have going on for this movie? I mean, they got the kids line. Then they got Chronicles. And now they got Origins. They got 3 lines for this movie. Good Lord. Hope everybody got deep pockets, because if you're here to collect them all, whew, this might set you back a minute. But overall, I'm very happy that I got him. He's going to be a nice addition to the collection, especially with the fact that I'm going to do a whole multi-dimension timeline display, but that'll be, later on in the year. So everybody, tell me what you thought of the movie Beastman. Let me know. Are you going to get him? He's still available on Mattel Creations if you want him. Or are you just done with Origins? Let me know down in the comments. Give it a like. Talking about the video. Subscribe if you want. Here, we talk about toys, we talk about modifying, we talk about a whole bunch of things, everything toy related, especially with Masters of the Universe and Thundercats here. That's our two primaries here, but we do talk about many other toy lines. So, like I said, we'll catch you later. And by the power of Grayskull, we uphold the Code of Thundera. Later, everybody.